this video, I want to talk about the importance of changing people's behaviours as a key part of business transformation. In process and service re-engineering projects, it's all too easy to concentrate on customer needs, process, organisational design and the application of IT, and give insufficient focus to the changing of people's behaviours. This so-called softer side of change is really key to sustained and ongoing improvement. Without behavioural change, new systems of work may fail to perform as designed and at the very least fail to improve over time. And this is particularly so when redesigning knowledge-intensive services such as R&D, law, accounting, design and management consulting. Because professionals performing such work have a high freedom to act in the performance of their work. For new working systems to be effective in such environments, people's behaviours need to change to align with what the new system of work is intended to achieve. And for people to change their behaviours, their beliefs or their abilities need to change, as these are the key drivers of behaviour. People will not change to new ways of working if they don't believe that these new methods are good for the company or for them. They won't change to new ways of working if they don't have the ability to work in these new ways effectively due to skills or experience shortfalls. Change agents can help establish the conditions for behavioural change the way they design and run change projects. And to illustrate this, I'm going to share 4 stories from transformation projects that I've been involved in over the last 25 years. The first example, I was leading a team implementing continuous flow manufacturing techniques in a chemicals producer in the Netherlands. In forming the core team, we ended up with an older employee selected for his experience in the chemicals process we were working to improve. However, it soon became apparent that let's call him Bob, he was rather cynical and negative. Bob was not a great contributor to the team either. However, he slowly but surely bought into what we were doing. His beliefs about how to work efficiently were changed. He also became a supporter of the approach. And when it came time to deploy the new processes and working methods, Bob became a strong and effective advocate. For people external to the project, they came to the conclusion that if Bob, not someone who normally welcomed change, was convinced by this new approach, then there really must be something in it. So here's the learning point. It's often good to have a disbeliever in your change team if they've got influence. They can help change the beliefs of others and thus encourage new working behaviours. The next example is from manufacturing, where I worked to help a Danish factory implement lean techniques in their production. I spoke with one shop floor operator during the preparation for the new production layout. She was worried about the changes planned and how they would impact her job, for she had operated a single machine tool for over 10 years, but in the new production layout she would be responsible for operating a cell comprising a number of different machines. And so she was worried that she wouldn't be able to cope, and so she was sort of against the proposed changes. I spoke to her a few months later after the new layout had been in place for a few weeks and was already showing the expected improvements. She was a different person to that worried woman I'd spoken to before. She was enthusiastic about her new job. She enjoyed the work more and relished the increased interest of her wider role. She laughed when I reminded her of our previous conversation and her fears of the change. So here's the learning point. People will fear change. They underestimate what they're capable of doing. So good work design and training allows people to step out of their previous comfort zone and perform a more challenging and fulfilling role without overstressing themselves. The third example is in a business services company which had asked Codex to assess its effectiveness at innovation. We did this using our F4I benchmarking approach. And our assessment found that the organisation had a very limited level of innovation, other than in major centrally led IT change projects. Outside of this, The company's approach to innovation was to set targets for the number of new ideas each business unit had to implement each year. And our interviews with employees and managers showed that they didn't believe that management really wanted innovation. And the statistics showed that only 1 in 7 employees provided any ideas each year. This was a really low level of participation. One employee's comments summarised the situation well. "We're given objectives on the number of ideas, they don't go anywhere. And if they get implemented, you don't even get a thank you." Now, middle management did not really want new ideas either, for they had to then resource their implementation. For they had not been provided with any additional resources to enhance their ability to support innovation. So by simply setting a target on the number of ideas and not resourcing innovation execution, management created the belief that innovation was not really that important and limited the ability for new ideas to be executed. And the result was predictable: low workforce engagement in innovation, which then became a tick-in-the-box exercise of idea counting, often after the event. So here's the learning point. Senior management actions and measures clearly signal what is important in a business. If this company's management had really wanted to encourage behaviours that drove innovation, they needed to motivate, recognise and reward participation and resource execution in innovation. Simply, they needed to make people believe that innovation was important and worthwhile. They failed to do that. So, the final example is the re-engineering for legal service in a large UK law firm a couple of years ago. This service was unprofitable following the move by the client to a fixed fee arrangement. My task was to help move the service to profitability by re-engineering it, using our smarter working approach and working with a core team of client personnel. Now, one of the core team members was a highly experienced senior lawyer, but she was negative about the project and whether it could really improve the service. But as the project progressed through training and workshops, she visibly went through a journey of change as she mapped and reviewed the service and then identified waste activities. Her beliefs about effective work design were changed. And armed with her new abilities and lean thinking, she was the one who, in her own time, designed the core concept of the new 2B service. And this new service ultimately reduced costs by 75% whilst improving service quality and responsiveness. She's now a real advocate for process improvement within the firm, using process thinking and mapping in other business areas. So here's the learning point. This case shows very clearly the power of a personal change in beliefs and abilities resulting in new innovative behaviours. This example cemented in my mind the power of a collaborative improvement approach involving people as the co-architects of change. So to wrap up, these 4 examples were from quite different industries and projects. The common factor was that they all involved people in change programs. Now, as a consultant, success is helping a business make major change that yields measurable benefits to the business. However, an even greater success is when you can also help change the beliefs and enhance the abilities of the people involved in change projects. And this can be done by engaging people in the change through collaborative working. In other words, doing it with them, not to them. So they then become internal agents of change in their own right, sustaining and multiplying change within the business. Thank you. See you next time.